Hello everybody, very warm welcome to all of you. Welcome to our modern biology. I'm Sasmita. Today we will see a new chapter which is transportation through plasma membrane or membrane transport. I know you have already heard this word in many times and you have some of you have already known this topic. So today I will teach you what is the membrane transport and how it works. So let's get into the video. Before that, please guys do like, share and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to press the bell icon for further notification. So now we will see introduction of transportation. So we all know cell contain plasma membrane. Transport through that membrane means which surround the cytosol of every cell is known as membrane. Like the transportation through that membrane is known as membrane transport. If now we will ask me why cell require transportation, means what is the need of transportation. So let me tell you, cell also needs some substances from outside of the cell, and also cell release some unwanted useless substances like waste material. Those occur through the transportation. That's why transportation is most important. So, introduction. A structure of cell membrane is present for the transportation of substances and out of the cell. In and out of the cell means a transportation occur inside of the cell to outside of the cell and outside of the cell to inside of the cell. Lipid and protein of the cell membrane plays important role in the transportation of various substances between ECF and ICF, extracellular fluid and intercellular fluid, like outside of the cell and inside of the cell. Here I have added one picture. You can see this is the plasma membrane, and this in this picture you can see this is the simple diffusion, like any substances easily can pass or penetrate through this plasma membrane. And this is ICF region and this is ECF region. ICF means intercellular fluid and ECF means extracellular fluid. Like this is the outer side and this is the inner side of the cell membrane, like cell. On-gated channel, here is the on-gated channel means there is no gate in this channel and it is present in the plasma membrane. Every substances can pass easily through this membrane, like this channel. And here we can see, like you can see gated channel, where there are two type of gated channel. One is closed gated and another one is open gated. Closed gated, which is always closed when substances which will enter inside the cell can will first bind with that channel. After that it will pass through this channel, like through this gate. Then here you can see open gated, which is always open and any substances can pass easily through this channel. Then now we will see the basic mechanism of transportation. The mechanism of transportation is mainly two type. One is the passive transport and another one is active transport. Passive transport do not require any ATP or energy for the transportation because it transportation occur along the concentration gradient. But in case of active transport, it required ATP or energy because it do not the transportation occur against the concentration gradient, so that's why it need ATP. So let me explain you why ATP require and why energy required for the transportation of cell membrane. In cell membrane, like suppose this is a cell, ignore my drawing diagram over here. Suppose this is a cell, and I have already told you in our previous video that plasma membrane is a lipid bilayer structure. And suppose the oxygen concentration is high in outside of the cell, and oxygen concentration is low in the inside of the cell. to make balance, it need to diffuse through the plasma membrane. So it will diffuse through the plasma membrane from the high concentration to the low concentration. So it does not require any type of ATP or energy, like swimming in the direction of water flow in the river. Here the substances move from the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration. Simply it does not need any type of ATP to transport through the plasma membrane. So here is another example you can see in this structure, like here is a cell. The Na concentration is high in the outside of the cell, and rather than inside of the cell. Inside of the cell there is low concentration of N plus ion. If it will go inside to outside of the cell, like the lower concentration to higher concentration of the cell, then it definitely require any type of ATP molecule over here, because like swimming against the water is in the river. It is also known as uphill transport. It required ATP. So let's have a look on passive transport. What does it means? Like, what is passive transport? Let me tell you, passive transport is a transportation along the concentration gradient, but it does not require any type of ATP molecule over here, any type of energy molecule over here, because transportation occur along the concentration gradient, like high concentration to lower concentration. So that's why it does not require any type of transportation molecule, sorry, ATP molecule. Then passive transportation, like passive transport, also known as downhill transport, a downhill movement. Then diffusion occur two types. Here is the diffusion occur two types. One is the simple diffusion through the protein or lipid bilayer, and another one is facilitated diffusion or carrier mediated diffusion. So let's have a look on simple diffusion. Simple diffusion is a type of diffusion which does not require any type of ATP molecule for the transportation, because all we know in our previous video that a simple diffusion is a type of passive diffusion, and we have already covered that passive diffusion. Passive diffusion, we know that it does not require any type of ATP molecule for the transportation, because it transportation occur along the concentration gradient, means higher concentration to the lower concentration. So that's the reason that does not require any type of ATP molecule. And simple diffusion is also like that. It is a transportation occur along the concentration gradients, means higher concentration to the lower concentration. So that's the reason it does not require any type of ATP molecules for the transportation. So let's look the first point. Membrane protein are not involved here. Like suppose this is a plasma membrane. This is a plasma membrane, and the diffusion occurred through that plasma membrane without help any carrier protein. Proteins are not involved here for the transportation. Transportation occurred directly through the plasma membrane. And the next point is diffusion rate of any substance's plasma membrane is directly proportional to the concentration gradient, hydrophobicity, and size. Means diffusion rate, suppose this is the higher concentration of O2 ion, and this is the lower concentration of O2 ion. This is the inner side and this is the outer side. If the outer side of the membrane is higher concentration of O2 molecule, then it will pass through the plasma membrane to the inner side, outside to the inner side. So it is the concentration gradient, like the diffusion rate is directly proportional to the concentration gradient. Plasma membrane, like the substances cross like pass from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Then it depend upon hydrophobicity, means water heating capacity. The molecule must have water heating capacity, and its size depend on the size. So diffusion rate is directly proportional to the concentration gradient and hydrophobicity and the size of the molecules. Then the next point is protein layer of cell membrane is permeable water soluble substances. Sorry, water soluble substances. Means like you can ask me here how the water soluble substances, water loving substances can pass through the plasma membrane. So then let me tell you, this is the plasma membrane. This must be a carrier protein which help to the transportation of those water loving substances from the outside to inside or inside outside to inside of the plasma membrane, like in the cell. It allow to pass any type of water lobbing substances which can pass through that protein from outside to inside of the plasma membrane. Then let's see facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is a type of diffusion. It is the type of passive diffusion. It is the second type of passive diffusion, as I had already told you this in a previous slide, that it is a type of facilitated diffusion. What happened in this case, this process is similar to simple diffusion, but in this case it needs carrier channel protein for the transportation of any substances. Then this process rate of diffusion is more than simple diffusion. Like what will happen, like facilitated or carrier mediated diffusion is the type of diffusion by which water soluble substances having larger molecule are transported through the plasma like cell membrane with the help of carrier protein. By this process the substances are transported across the plasma membrane is faster than the transported by the simple diffusion occur. Then the last point is this process allow polar charged molecules, carbohydrate, amino acid across the plasma membrane. Let's see one picture of facilitated diffusion. Here is the stage 1 and here is the stage 2. You can see like the glucose and amino acid are transported by the facilitated diffusion. Glucose and amino acid molecule can diffuse through the channel because the diameter of these molecule is larger than the diameter of channel. The diameter of the molecule is larger than the diameter of the channel. Molecule of the substances first bind with the channel. First you can see over these stage, molecule of the substances bind with the carrier protein first. Now some conformational changes occur. You can see in this second picture, like second stage, conformational small conformational changes occur in the carrier protein. Due to that change, the molecule reach one side of the cell membrane. You can see, and due to this conformational changes occur over here, molecule can cross the plasma membrane. In this process glucose and amino acid transported through that this facilitated diffusion. So let's see carrier protein mediated. That I had already told you in our previous slide that facilitated diffusion is transportation of facilitated diffusion is mediated by carrier or channel protein mediated. Here we will see carrier protein mediated transport. This is the type of transport through the help of protein. Proteins are involved here for the transportation of any molecules. Then the next point is it is actively transport or passively transport, which means transportation occur may be energy dependent, maybe not, maybe along the concentration gradient, maybe not. Then the third point is carrier protein helps. Here is uniport. Sorry, I forgotten to highlight this. Uniport and symport or antiport. uh, I will describe this in our previous in our next slide. Don't worry for that. It may be down the concentration gradient or against the concentration along the concentration gradient. I had told this in our previous line that it may be energy dependent, it may be not. So it is if it will like transportation occur along the concentration gradient, what the need of energy over here. So maybe it is a the energy dependent process, maybe. Here in this picture you will able to understand what is uniport, what is symport, and what is antiport. Like you can see over here, this is the ECF region, like extracellular fluid region, and this is the ICF region, intercellular fluid region, and this is the plasma membrane, and here is the carrier protein which mediated transportation occur. In the uniport you can see that transportation occur in one like molecule transportation occur at a time, like one molecule transportation occur in one time, like one time one molecule can pass through that carrier protein. But in case of symport, what will happen? There is two molecule pass across the carrier protein at a time. Two different molecule pass in the same direction at a time in that carrier protein. Through that carrier protein there is two different molecule pass at a time in the same direction. But in case of antipode, what will happen? There is two molecule pass at a time in different direction through this carrier protein. Like maybe this will the molecule pass from outside to inside, maybe the molecule pass inside to outside. This way you can see uniport and symport and antiport over here. So let's see, channel mediated protein is the second type of transportation. Channel mediated transportation, channel proteins forms a pore through which transportation take place in appropriate size. Like it forms a pore in the plasma membrane through which transportation occur of substances through that pore. This pore, sorry, this is a, I mean this is a pore. This pore are hypothetical pore. This pore are hypothetical pore. Some of the channels are continuously open, called on-gated channel, and most of the channel are always closed, called gated channel. Some of channel are always open. Transportation occurred through that channel, which is known as the on-gated channel, and some of the channels are always closed, which is known as gated channel. I have already told this in our previous slide. You can see in this slide that it is a closed gated channel and it is a open gated channel, which is always open and which is always closed. So let's see active transport. Active transport is a ATP dependent process, and it is also known as uphill transport, like as passive transport. As I had told you that passive transport also known as downhill transport, so it is also known as uphill transport. Active transport is a type of transport against the concentration gradient. So it is transportation occur against the concentration gradient, so that's why it need a ATP for the transportation. Like swimming against the water ride in the river, it is the example of active transport. Like the second point is it need a carrier protein for the transportation and also metabolic energy for that. As I said, that metabolic energy obtained mainly by breakdown of high energy compound like adenosine triphosphate, ATP. You all know about that. So I will not elaborate this. So the next point is it is differ from facilitated diffusion. It is very differ for from the facilitated diffusion, and it is two types. One is primary active transport and another one is secondary active transport. We will see this in our next video, so keep watching for that. Then we will see the next slide, which is difference between passive transport and active transport. So here is one difference. Here I have added one difference between passive transport and active transport. You can see. First, we will see the definition: transportation along the concentration gradient, electrochemical or electrical gradient. Transportation occur in the passive case. In the active case, transportation all against concentration, electrical or electrochemical gradient occur. Then the second point is other name. As I had already told you this in a previous slide, that passive transport also known as downhill movement, and active transport also known as uphill movement. And the energy does not require in case of passive transport, but energy required in case of active transport. Then the last one is substances transported. What type of substances transported over the passive and active transport? In case of passive transport, oxygen, carbon dioxide, alcohol, water, and electrolyte are transported through the passive transport. In case of active transport, we will see ionic substances like sodium, potassium, calcium, hydrogen, etc. can pass through the ionic substances can pass through the active transport, and non-ionic substances like glucose, amino acid. I have already given the example in this video. And micromolecule can pass easily through the active transport. So guys, this was it for today's video. I have solely covered the basic part of transportation across the plasma membrane in this video. And as I had promised you guys that I will complete my all cell biology video, I will keep my promise to complete that. And also I have covered so many part of cell biology video. If you haven't watched that video, then go and check that out. And thank you so much guys for your love and support towards me, and thank you so much who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for everything.